sanctuary, rescued from the food production business in some way or another. Although we have gotten some pigs, for instance, from the University of Rochester, where they were doing skin research. So we've gotten some from those places, but usually they're from food production facilities, not necessarily industrial operations. Some might be small farms, some might be live animal markets, like in New York City, there's actually slaughterhouses. So sometimes animals will escape from the slaughterhouse, run through the streets, and then when that happens, everybody is sort of clamoring for their freedom, which is kind of an interesting irony, because these are people that are probably eating them other times, but then one gets out and they want them to live, which we're happy about, but we wish they'd be for them all to live. So they come from a variety of sources.
In your talk, you said something along the lines of milk drinkers have allergies and are congested with mucus.
Yeah.
I'm just confused. How does allergies and mucus connect with drinking milk?
Well, milk has a lot of foreign proteins, cow proteins, and it's also very mucousy. So, a lot of friends of mine who are now vegan talked about how before they became vegan, they had to take these various medications to deal with allergies and with, mucus and respiratory problems. And when they stopped drinking cow's milk, it went away. So, and there's science behind this too. I mean, I'm talking more anecdotally here, but if you look at Colin Campbell's work, the China study, he talks about the benefits of plants. And as I say, his study was called The Grand Prix of Epidemiology by the New York Times, and he concluded that human beings are basically a vegetarian species.
My family and I raise pigs. I've worked with pigs for 9 years now. I know that they're intelligent animals, they're smart. I know that they have personalities. I also know that some of them are excellent mothers, but some of them, just like humans, are not good mothers. We try to work with the pigs enough that we know which ones are good mothers, and we can pick those ones that are good mothers, but at the same time, you can't always predict that. Like, you can't predict when a human mother is not going to take care of her child. And that's the reason why we use crates. Because some of the pigs just don't have mothering ability, and they will either end up laying on their piglets, which is a horrible thing to see. In the crates, it makes it easier for the piglets to move around their mothers if they know that their mother is restricted to a specific area. They know that there is a safe zone. The mother pigs try to signal their babies when they're laying down by grunting, but the babies don't always move fast enough, and the mothers will go down very slowly. But again, the babies aren't always fast enough, so the crates help them. They know that if they're walking underneath mom, they should walk through that area fast. The crates are really a safety device for the piglets.
But isn't there still a lot of crushing in the crates? Aren't those piglets, don't a lot of them get crushed in those crates?
We haven't had crushing when the mothers are in the crates as frequently as we have when they're out of the crates.
Okay, I mean, I've heard the other side of that one, and I appreciate you, talking about your specific experience, and in terms of the sows, some good mothers, some not good mothers, and what if there was one that was a good mother? Would she be allowed to raise her young as a good mother, or would she also then have to be in the crate?
On our farm, we allow the ones that we typically give the piglets a few days to adjust to being around mom, and if she's doing a good job, then we'll let her out of the crate, and she's allowed to be with her piglets. She's allowed to move freely.
Out of the crate with her piglets?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, one of the things I think happens too is that, the sows were probably raised in crates, and maybe never learned to interact in a positive way, with their young. I think, we're products of nature and nurture, humans and other animals. And so it's pretty, these environments these animals grow up in are not necessarily conducive to learning good mothering skills. So I think there's those components as well that are potentially, causing some of the problems you're describing. But, again, this is a big ethological, animal behavioral kind of discussion, and there's not been enough research done on the topic. But from my standpoint, it just seems kind of, backwards that, mother pigs couldn't raise their young in a natural environment. Like Nikki, for example, the sow, who raised her young on the levee and was taking care of them pretty well by herself. I would guess that the person who had her in the gestation crate would probably have said that she was not a good mother. But they probably never gave her the chance to be a good mother. And in the crate, when you aren't able to move, your behavior is going to be affected. Your thinking is going to be affected. So some of the animals that you talk about that are good mothers, maybe I don't understand why. Well, they just have a different personality and they maybe understand things a little differently than the ones that you say are not good mothers. But I think the ones that are not good mothers, likely are in that situation or behave that way because of what they've experienced and what they know or what they don't know, So, no, this is an ongoing process, and I appreciate you sharing that.
Banning the gestation crates or battery cages, what good does that do? Because they're just going to move to another state, and then once all the states are made illegal, it's move to a different country.
Well, hopefully it will become illegal all over the world at some point. And ideally, through this process, people learn about what happens to these animals, recognize them as individuals, and decide they don't ultimately want to buy them at all, and buy animal products at all. That's ultimately where I hope this goes. But in terms of these things being moved around from state to state, yeah, that may happen. But we'll go state to state and try to ban these things. Eventually we'll try to get a federal law to ban them. And then we would like to see restrictions on selling meat from any country that doesn't prohibit some of those cruelties. So this is an ongoing process, state by state now, but then national and international.
I was going to say in Europe, they're even ahead of us.
Oh, yeah.
Banning some of this terrible.
Oh, in Europe, they're way ahead of us, yeah. These things are being banned across Europe right now. And that's one reason I think, actually, that some producers and industry groups in the US are not so much against banning these crates, because they want to open up European markets. In fact, the pork industry, Smithfield, not too long ago, talked about phasing out gestation crates. The veal industry has talked about phasing out veal crates. So there's starting to be some movement on those issues. This was unfortunately not something that was done on their own. It was really done in response to popular concerns and initiatives passing and industry recognizing that these things are going to start being banned anyway. But there's starting to be movement.
Have you seen the movie Food Incorporated?
Yes.
Okay. Could you explain to me, the way I understand it about the company Monsanto, they can control the corn farmers and...
Yeah, has anybody here seen the movie Food Inc. is what she's asking. Yeah, okay, about Monsanto and the corn and how they, own patents on certain corn. And if some of that corn is found in a farmer's field, they can go after that farmer for his corn. And that's what that movie talked about, and just sort of the injustice of it. How this farmer did not want to plant the corn from Monsanto, did not want that corn, but it blew into his field. Because they own the patent on it, they can now come after him.
Okay, I have another question about Monsanto. When I returned the movie to the movie rental place where I got it, the guy there said that since that movie was made, Monsanto now is trying to get a patent. I don't know if it's a patent, like you say, but it deals with pigs, with hogs. Do you know about that? Like there's something, somehow I don't know if it's the DNA in the pig that they're trying to get the control of, that they can control all the pigs in the world.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one, but...
Well, I don't know.
But
I'm not
it's
explaining it right, but it's very scary.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, these are industries that want to control things. They want to...
How do they do that?
Well,
this is America.
Yeah, well, it's true. This is America.
And you're going to Washington, right?
Yes, that's right. I'm going to
A lot of
Washington.
responsibility on you.
Yeah.
We're
It's,
going to expect a lot.
ownership. Laws of property and ownership are very strong here. If you own something, you can do an awful lot with it. And so they're trying to patent certain things and then own them. Patent